Hi guys, it's Arielle. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. As you guys know, we are having some problems with our apartment. If you haven't seen my last video, we are struggling. We have no heat and we have no hot water, and this problem is indefinite. We have no idea when things are going to be fixed. So we kind of want to get ahead of the curve and start looking at apartments to potentially move. So in today's video, I want to take you guys with us and I'm going to show you 5 different apartments around Paris. I'm going to give you a tour, talk about pricing, and hopefully by the end of this video, we will have found our new home. Okay, so I'm on my way to our first visit, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little flustered because Jean was only able to get a hold of this agency on his lunch break around noon, and the agency told him that they were doing visits in 3 hours at 3 p.m, so come if you can. And he obviously can't because he's working, so I ran over. I don't know a lot about the 13th arrondissement, but I did get here a little bit early so that we can explore the quartier before we go and do the visit. The 13th arrondissement is located on the left bank of the Seine, just behind the 5th. We're about a 30-minute bike ride or metro ride into the center of Paris. As I walked through the streets in this neighborhood, the lack of energy was obvious. I didn't come across many restaurants, bars, terraces, bakeries, or shops. There were a few grocery stores, but this was a very residential area. And what was also missing was the charm in the architecture. The buildings here are more modern looking, but the type of modern that looks like really cheap materials were used to construct very uniform apartment buildings. That being said, the apartment is just a 10-minute walk from the beautiful Parc Montsouris, which is a great plus because it's a beautiful park ideal for running or picnicking. Now, the apartment that we're visiting today is 53 square meters or 570 square feet. Per month, the rent would be 1,743 euros, which includes 55 euros in amenity charges. It should be noted, though, that we'd have to pay for heating, electricity, and Wi-Fi on top of this rent, which would cost about 150 euros extra per month. The apartment was also listed through an agency, so we'd also have to add on a one-time payment of 820 euros to the agency. The apartment is on the first floor of this building and is facing a main road, which kind of made me nervous for the noise, but I did like the brickwork. As soon as you walk into the apartment, you have the living room / dining room on your right, with the window facing the street that we just saw. Note that the windows are double pane, so that should help with the noise. You have a set of glass doors separating the living room from the office, which I thought was really charming, and the moldings on the ceiling were very beautiful. On the other side of the hallway, you have the kitchen, which is entirely blue. The kitchen appliances included in the rent are the fridge, a microwave, an oven, a stovetop, and a dishwasher. One thing I will say that I didn't love was that the window was overlooking the garbage disposal. Straight down the hallway, you have a walk-in closet with lots of storage space. And then right across from the office space, you have the bedroom, which is very spacious. The furniture included in the rent is a closet, a queen-size mattress, the bed frame, and a dresser. The washroom is also located in the bedroom, where you have the shower, a sink, and a laundry machine. Overall, I found the bedroom to be quite spacious and about double the size of what we currently have, just not very bright. Okay, we're back from our first visit. Initial thoughts on the neighborhood. As I was walking to the apartment, I realized that I'd actually done a photography class in this part of the 13th, and I vividly remember trying to get lunch during our lunch break was impossible because there really weren't a lot of quality commerce in the area. Like, there wasn't a lot of boulangeries, there weren't a lot of restaurants or even terraces, bars and stuff where you can get a hot meal. So that kind of turned me off because I feel like it's a lot more residential than what I would want. And also it's kind of a pain in the butt to not have a quality bakery in your neighborhood. And then when it comes to the apartment itself, honestly, it was a great size, and I really loved the glass door that separated the living room from the office space. The only problem is that I visited during the middle of the day on a full sunshine day, like not a cloud in the sky, and the apartment was very dark. Almost no natural light got in, and I think that would be a problem for me. That would be a problem for me because honestly, I thrive in the sunlight and I film a lot of my videos at home, so I really do need that natural light. I do think this would be a great apartment for us because honestly, I really liked the layout of the apartment and the walk-in closet was a huge plus, but maybe if it was 5 floors higher and south facing. That being said, I won't completely cancel the idea of moving to the 13th. We actually have a visit tomorrow in a different area of the 13th, so maybe I'll change my mind. Today we're on our way to our second visit, which is also in the 13th arrondissement, and I definitely don't have my heart set on living in the 13th, but the 19-meter squared balcony of this next apartment really intrigued me, and it's really nice because we get to visit on Jean's lunch break, so he can see this one as well. The apartment that we're going to visit today is 55 meters squared or 592 square feet. Per month, the rent would be 1,740 euros, which includes 215 euros in amenity fees. It should be noted though that we'd have to pay extra for heating, electricity, and Wi-Fi, which would come to about 150 euros extra per month. Here we are at the second apartment located on the second floor of this building. You can actually see the balcony of the apartment from the street. The lobby was small. We noticed right away that there was no building attendant or a second security door, but there was an elevator which we took up to the second floor. This is what the second floor looks like, as well as the view from above. The agent told us that the residents in this building are mostly families and elderly people, which is exactly what we're looking for. We want a quiet and calm apartment. As soon as you walk in, there's a huge living room area with direct access to a balcony, which is both covered and west facing, so we can't really expect much sunlight here. And as we saw from below, you have a view of the street. This balcony also connects you to the bedroom, which was quite small but did have a lot of built-in storage, although it's kind of hard to see where a bed would actually fit without blocking this storage or the door to the balcony. Across from the bedroom, you have the toilet and the bathroom, and there is the possibility of installing a washing machine here. Circling back to the living room, you can see that it's open concept with the kitchen in the back. Unfortunately, no appliances are included, but there is room to install a dishwasher, a fridge, and an oven. From the kitchen, you have access to a second balcony, but because of the surrounding buildings, you really don't get much sunlight. Okay, what did you think?
I think my feelings are mixed about this one. It's bien agencé.
It's a nice layout.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I like that the kitchen is open on the living room. The 2 balconies are huge.
Yes, it wasn't written in the ad, but there was a second balcony off of the living room, and it was quite big. So you have these 2 huge balconies, which I've never seen before, which I really liked as well.
Yes, and the fact that the bathroom is separate with the...
You liked having the toilet and the bathroom separate?
Yeah, that's really cool.
I think for me, the only issue I have with this apartment is that we're on... Again, it's the second floor. There are huge buildings that surround this building, and so even if the sun is out, you don't have any natural light in the apartment. And again, we're visiting on a full sunlight day in the middle of the afternoon. The apartment should be flooded with sunlight, and it was very dark, and I don't think I could see myself living in a place like that. And I think you mentioned a good point about the price of the apartment, because the total price per month is 1,740 euros.
Charge inclus.
Yeah, including the charges.
But if you see the price of the charges,
the monthly amenity fees,
it's 215 euros. But in this, you have to include we have to pay electricity, internet, and gas
And heating.
and heating. Gas for the heating and hot water. And this is in France. It's really expensive.
Very expensive. And this building, I mean, it does have an elevator and it has a parking space, but it doesn't have a building attendant. In French, you'd call it a gardien. And so for the price of 215 euros, that's really expensive for the amount of amenities that you will have to pay yourself. Like on top of this, I would say we'd probably have to add
200, I think.
200 euros, in charges, which brings the rent up to almost 2,000 euros a month, which is a lot of money, especially for the 13th arrondissement.
Yeah. So I'm not sure we will continue this adventure. This one.
Now, on to the next.
Yes.
Now, as fun as it is to take you on these visits with us, I do think that before I take you to see the third apartment, it's very important to show you the behind the scenes of apartment hunting in Paris, because it's an enormous amount of work. We use the app Jinka to alert us whenever an ad is posted, and then we contact the agent right away. There's lots of competition for rentals in Paris, and so it's really important to be fast and to put your best foot forward always. Emails and messages don't typically work. Best practice is always going to be to call as fast as possible. And just to give you guys an example, I just got off the phone with an agent who had an apartment for rent in the 17th. As soon as this ad went up, I called. Like, I'm talking within 30 seconds. He didn't answer, so I set a timer on my phone and called him back every 10 minutes. And after about 1 hour, so 6 calls, I finally get through. And the agent told me, he was like, absolutely not, you cannot visit. I already have a lineup of 44 people who want this apartment. And all that to say that these apartments go literally in less than an hour. You have to be so on it. And the competition is just out of this world. Even in February, this is the type of competition we're dealing with. I can't even imagine in September. And I won't lie, whether you're just visiting Paris or you're trying to rent an apartment here, it's undeniable that speaking French, even if it's just a little, will make things much easier and will give you a leg up on the competition. And thanks to the amazing sponsor of today's video, Lingoda, learning a new language, even if you're starting from zero, is possible. Lingoda is an online language school that gives you access to live classes by native speakers in small groups, and is, in my opinion, the most effective way to learn a new language and actually become conversational. Last summer, you guys saw me win the Sprint, which is a 2-month challenge designed to accelerate your language learning with a cashback incentive. And to be honest with you, the Sprint was critical to my journey because it helped me build the foundation as a total beginner in Italian, and it also fostered consistency. After the Sprint, I decided to do Lingoda Flex, which allows me to follow the Lingoda curriculum by building my class schedule around my lifestyle. At the moment, what works best for me is taking a class every morning from Monday to Friday. Last week, I completed a chapter on grocery shopping, and this week I'm working through the chapter on transportation. Buongiorno, vorrei comprare 2 biglietti per Roma, per favore, andate e ritorno. Quanto costano? Ah, grazie mille, vorrei prenotare il posto. Posso pagare con la carta? Whatever your travel plans are this summer, if you're just visiting Paris or even planning on moving here, then there is no better time to start working on your French. Click the link in the description below and use my code Margarita2025 for an additional 20 euros off. I cannot speak highly enough about Lingoda or their teachers. They are honestly the biggest reason that I've seen so much success on my own language learning journey. So thank you again to Lingoda for supporting my channel and sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to it. Happy Saturday! We're on our way to our third visit. This one is in the 15th. I don't know where in the 15th. I don't even know what we're seeing. I've given my phone number to so many agents at this point that I have no clue who is contacting me for a visit. The apartment that we're going to look at today is 51 meters squared or 549 square feet. Per month, the rent would be a whopping 2,100 euros, which includes 105 euros in amenity charges. This apartment, unlike all of the others, is also furnished, but as per usual, the rent doesn't include heating, electricity, or Wi-Fi. Now, this visit actually ended up being at the cusp of the 15th, which is really far out of the city center, as you can see, and not ideal. I like the 15th, but this far back would be really inconvenient, and when we went to walk around the neighborhood, we really didn't love the kinds of restaurants, bars, grocery stores, etc. that we were seeing. This is the building itself, and the apartment is located on the second floor facing both the street and the tram. As you can see, you have a laundromat and a bar right below. As soon as you walk in, you have the living room to the left, which was furnished with a small couch, a coffee table, a mirror, and a TV. This second room is connected to the living room by a set of doors and is furnished with a giant table. Both rooms connect to the balcony, which was a nice touch, but wasn't really wide enough to be considered a proper balcony. Here's the bathroom, which has a tiled shower, a nice touch. And next to the bathroom, you have the bedroom, which comes furnished with a bed frame, a mattress, and a wardrobe. Down the hall and beside the bedroom, you have the kitchen, which was beautifully finished with an oven, a dishwasher, a stovetop, and a washing machine. It was so bright in here, and I really loved the red accent tiles. Here's a quick view of the second floor and the wooden stairs as we headed out. We also popped out to see the courtyard just below. Okay, so we just left the visit. I thought we could maybe both say what we liked and didn't like about this apartment. Mm-hmm. I actually don't mind the 15th. I think it's a nice neighborhood to live in. You're pretty close to the Eiffel Tower, to the Seine, except this apartment really is on the outskirts of the 15th, so you're quite far. And the only metro station that you're really connected to is the 13th, which is kind of useless if you spend a lot of time going into the city center of Paris, which I do. You're connected to the tram as well, but the tram sort of goes around Paris. It doesn't take you into Paris. So I think that's a little bit problematic. When it comes to the apartment, I loved the kitchen. I thought it was amazing. You had an oven, stovetop, you had a dishwasher. It was really cute. It was well furnished. Loved it. The cabinets were cute, because it was freshly renovated, it's brand new paint, brand new furniture. I think that's great. But on the downside, because this apartment is furnished, you're kind of stuck with whatever furniture the landlord picks out, which I think probably leads us to what you didn't love about the apartment.
It's my turn?
Yeah.
Yes. So you will see in the video, but the second room that can be an office or a bedroom.
The room across from the living room.
Yeah, there is a huge table.
Yeah.
In there. So if you want to make this piece.
This room.
If you want to make this room a bedroom or an office for you. Mm-hmm. What are we doing with this table of 15 people?
No, it really was ridiculous because it's a 2-person apartment and it's an 8-person dining room table. It's so strange.
And there is no storage, no cave.
Mm-hmm. So it's honestly, because the table takes up 90% of the space in that room, it's a complete waste of having that third room. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
That I like or don't like?
Both.
So I will continue with what I don't like. So the location. It's really, really far of the 15.
Yeah.
Maybe more center in the 15, near the 8 or something like this, it's better. But it's really, really far. And I think that's it about what I don't like.
What did you like?
Yes, I like the fact that it's traversant. That
Luminous?
Yes, and window at both sides.
Oh, the balcony was nice too.
Yes,
the balcony crossed
was
from
cool.
the living room to the second room. That was really nice.
But I'm not sure it's a fun balcony to have a coffee in the morning.
No. I mean, you're facing the tram, you're facing the road. It's definitely not.
But it's a nice one to have some plants or
some sunlight.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, another downside with the furniture is you're also stuck when you're getting furnished with the mattress and the bed frame that the landlord picks out.
It was really, really small.
Yeah, small bed. You have no idea whether the landlord's going to pick a quality mattress or not. More often than not, they pick the cheapest available option at IKEA. So, yeah, I think that's probably the number one reason why we're not taking this one is that it's furnished.
Yeah.
And the number two reason would be the location.
And I think also it's oh
my gosh, yes.
It's 2,000 without with charge included.
With amenities, yeah.
With amenities. So you have to.
It's the same as the other one. The amenities don't include heating, they don't include electricity, they don't include Wi-Fi. So again, this apartment would come to 2,000 plus 200 euros in amenities, and that's just too much for what you're getting.
Yeah. How many square feet do you remember?
Maybe 60. I don't know. I don't remember.
So it's huge, but for the neighborhood, for this location, I think it's a little bit expensive.
So we're on our way to our next visit, and I kind of messed up. When the ad was posted, it said 18th arrondissement, so I called without thinking and without checking, and I had gotten so many no's from agents this day. I was desperate to get a visit, and so I called the agent. I was like, I want to visit. It looks so beautiful. And she almost seemed shocked. She was like, you're the first and only person to call to see this apartment. Of course you can have a visit. And I should have known right then and there that it was kind of suspicious that I was the only person that wanted to see this apartment. But basically, it's located in the 18th in the Goutte d'Or, which is between the metro station Chapelle and Barbès-Rochechouart. And it's not necessarily the neighborhood that I'd like to avoid in our future apartment. It's definitely these two metro stations. Like, I don't want my main metro stations to be Barbès and Chapelle. They are notorious for crime, for drugs, and personally I have had two very scary encounters in these metro stations. I feel like if I lived here, I would feel limited in where I could go, if I could go by myself. So I'm not sold on living in this area, but I am curious to see what an apartment in the 18th looks like.
The apartment that we're visiting today is 67 meters squared or 721 square feet. Per month, the rent would be 1,881 euros, which doesn't include heating, electricity, and Wi-Fi. Plus, we'd also have to pay for the annual charges for the boiler, which would come to about 200 euros extra per year. Although I do think this is pretty standard, it's just that this was the first agent to inform us of this extra charge. Here's the apartment building, and the apartment itself is on the first floor. You can see the windows from here, but I can't say I'm a huge fan of being so close to not just the ground, but the main entrance. We took the wooden staircase up and were really surprised at how spacious this apartment was. As soon as you walk in, you have the living room to the left and the kitchen to the right. The kitchen came equipped with a sink, an oven, a stovetop, a microwave, and a fridge. We are missing the dishwasher, but there is space to install one. From the kitchen, you also have a view of the courtyard, which is privately owned by the ground floor residents. Moving into the living room, you can see that it is huge with two windows facing the street. The living room is connected to the office, the bathroom, and the bedroom. To the left, you have the office space, which was quite big, but because we're on the first floor, you really don't get much light. And as for the view, we're currently onlooking the construction. Just off of the office, you have the bathroom, which is also where the laundry machine is installed. Now, I'm not a huge fan of having the toilet in the same space as the bathroom, and I'm an even bigger hater of a bathtub that only has a shower curtain to keep the water in, as opposed to a proper shower wall or a door. Walking back through the living room to get into the bedroom, you can see that even though the windows are big, natural daylight is limited. And just watching this back, I am shuddering at how dark it is. The bedroom window faced the courtyard, but because it's so small and we're on such a low level, the light was extremely limited. That being said, a plus to this room is that there was a large closet and storage space that was already installed. Okay, so what did you think of the apartment?
I'm not sure I like this one because of the location, because of the natural light that was not existent. And for me, I think it's the opposite of you, but I don't like the séjour, the living room. Yes, because of the, it's not a separation, but with the wooden wooden post. It seems like it's, I don't know, it's break in half. Even if you have a sofa or canapé,
a sofa
on the side, and the other side the television, or I don't know. I think it's weird to have this in the middle of the
Well,
room.
I think it's very aesthetic, and I think that it allows for light to go through the whole apartment. Yeah. But it's true that you don't have a wall, you can't hang your TV, and it is a little bit random. I guess I was looking at it more aesthetically, but yeah, it creates sort of a random barrier. I guess it would be better actually if the living room was totally open. I also didn't love this one. It's not my ideal neighborhood. The 18th generally, honestly, isn't somewhere that I typically go anyway, so I think it'd be really inconvenient to get around and get where I need to go in Paris. And yeah, as with most of these apartments, my number one issue is the light. It felt like we were in a cave, and I don't want to feel like that every single day, especially because I work from home. It is so important that I feel happy and good and positive, and I feel the natural light where I'm living and where I'm working. So yeah, this one, even though it was a good price for how many square meters it was 67 square meters, which is a lot bigger than all of the apartments that we visited. The price wasn't worth all the downsides for us for this apartment.
Also, I think the kitchen was too big.
What?
The kitchen.
How is that a bad thing?
No, I know, but I think because it's huge, you lost space maybe for the living room. And
I'm never going to complain about a big kitchen.
I prefer to have a small kitchen like this one and have a living room / dining room and not eat in the kitchen.
Okay, I see what you're saying. It's true that when we have a dining room table, you'd probably have to put it in either the kitchen or the living room. What I would say about the size of the kitchen, I'm never going to complain about a big kitchen, but there was no counter space. The counter space was basically the stove, and then you would have a little bit of counter space on top of like the hole where the dishwasher could go and next to the stove, I think. But yeah, I think when it comes to kitchen cooking, there wasn't enough counter space, but I'd love a big kitchen. Anyways, this one's a no.
No.
On to the next. So today we have another apartment viewing. This one is in the 11th arrondissement, and I'm so excited. I love the 11th. I've lived in the 11th already. I loved every second of it, so I have really high hopes for this one.
The apartment that we're going to look at today is 59 meters squared or 635 square feet, plus a 10.2 meter squared balcony. Per month, the rent would be about 1,915 euros, but this doesn't include heating, electricity, and Wi-Fi, which we'd have to pay for on top of the rent, which would be about 150 euros extra per month. The 11th is one of the best, if not the best, arrondissement to live in my opinion, because you strike the perfect balance between nightlife and residential neighborhood. Here's the building in question, and the apartment is on the 5th floor. You can see the balcony from here. I took the tiny elevator all the way up and was absolutely awestruck when I walked in. I have never seen a more beautiful and perfect apartment in my life. As soon as you walk in, you have the dining room dead center, which is connected to the living room / office space. From all rooms except the kitchen, you can access the balcony, which I didn't know was a wraparound given that the apartment is on the corner. The kitchen is connected to the dining room and was chef's kiss. There was so much storage and counter space, plus a dishwasher, a washing machine, an oven, and a gas stove. The gorgeous view is also a great incentive to wash the dishes. As you cross back through the dining room, you get to the living room / office space, which was not only incredibly spacious, but because of the 3 huge south-facing windows, it was incredibly luminous as well. I was already picturing us cozying up on the couch here, reading under the sun. From the living room, you also have access to the balcony, and you don't have any other buildings blocking the view. Next to the living room, you have the bedroom, which was spacious, luminous, fabulous, and had a huge storage unit already installed. And finally, next to the bedroom is the bathroom, which is maybe the only downside to this apartment because the shower was minuscule. Perfection. I think that is the one word that I would use to describe this apartment. If you could see into my dreams, this is the exact apartment that you would see. I loved everything about this place, truly everything. I think the greatest highlights for me are, number one, that you had a wraparound balcony on the 5th floor. This apartment, I feel, is just such a rare find because not only are you high up, not only do you not have a building blocking the view, but you are situated on the corner of a building with a balcony that goes all the way around. It was spectacular. I've never seen an apartment like this ever in the 5 years that I've been in Paris. Another really great point for me were all of the different windows that were mostly south-facing that let in all this natural lighting. It was so happy, I want to say. As soon as you walked into the apartment, you just felt so happy. And then the third highlight for me, I think, is for sure going to be the fact that it's in the 11th arrondissement. It's such a great neighborhood. You are so perfectly located because you're about a 15-minute bike ride from the city center, which means it's very accessible, but because you're not located directly in the city center, you're more in a residential, cool, vibey neighborhood. You don't have to deal with the huge inflow of tourism or the restaurants, the bars, the shops that are catered to tourism that you'd find in the city center of Paris. So this apartment was a 20 out of 10 for me. I love everything about it. The only issue is that they said on the application form that if you are using your business to apply, because typically you'll submit your work contract, you will show your monthly payment slips, and this is totally going to fly for Jean, but for me, I'd have to give more financial information and more information about my business, and they really don't want to accept anyone with a business that's less than 2 years old. So mine is just over a year. I don't exactly qualify, but I talked to the agent. I explained that we could have guarantors, like we have my parents, we have Jean's parents that could sign the contract with us. So we will submit the paperwork, we will cross our fingers. But yeah, I think that just about wraps things up for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed coming with us to all these different Paris apartments. If you have any questions for me, let me know down below. I'll also try and put out a video on how to build your dossier and how to search for an apartment, what criteria should you look for, and what's the fastest, most efficient way to find the apartment ads. All that will come. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Huge thank you to Lingoda for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you check them out with the link down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.